so I just pulled it up. Ouch. Yeah, he's a Cancer sun. He's born July 20th. We're using Western astrology. His North Node was in Leo. That's an indicator of fame already. North Node is your true calling in life. So north, we think, go up, right? North, east, south, west. North is what you're supposed to ascend to. It's your soul's calling, your soul's purpose. And this south node, the descendant, is things we already learned in the past time and the baggage that we come into this life already bringing in. So that's what we need to shy away from, because we already learned it. If we're still learning south node shit, we're not doing a good job as a soul, because we're here to be, he was here to be Leo, be a star, be, look at Kylie Jenner, she's also a Leo. Different aspects, but yeah, so if he was, what's the opposite of Leo's? Aquarius. If he was here trying to be friends with everybody and trying to be innovative and fucking technology, it's like, you're not really here to do that. So he learned in his past life Aquarius stuff, and this time he was here to be a star. He was here to be well known and well liked, and he was. So let's go deeper. Just want to explain that. His Mars is in Scorpio. Let's look at the actual chart. Where is it? Here it is. Okay. His sun's in Cancer, and it looks like it's opposing Uranus. And Uranus is in the 11th house, and he has Aquarius there. Let's look at Saturn. It's in Taurus. Okay, very grounded in Earth, because Saturn is ruled by Capricorn, which is the Earth sign, and he is in Taurus, which is another Earth sign. His 9th house was in Sagittarius, and what's interesting is 9th house is the natural house of Sagittarius, so that is like philosophy, that is higher learning, that is seeking, that is traveling, and he has Pluto there. Pluto is the sign of, I don't know, Pluto reminds me of like karma. Pluto reminds me of Chiron. Pluto reminds me of things we explode in a way. Things we tend to traumatize, whether that's because life had this predestined to us, or we go out seeking it unconsciously. And him having it in the 9th house in Sagittarius, it's like he could have learned things the hard way, or when he goes out into the world to seek these things, that's when he's met with adversity, and that's when he's met with painful revelations about the world, about what he believes. And his moon was in Scorpio. I've listened to like 2 of his albums, and the moon is our emotions. The moon is how we cope. The moon is how we integrate what we learn and we process it. It's emotional processing. And he has it in Scorpio, which is a sign that is, it's water, it's deep, it's very intuitive. They can be psychic. And I'm thinking about his music and how mostly what he rapped about is being the life of the party. That's the Leo for sure. But also I know he raps about love, and he raps about things not working out, or him wanting to share and take care of other people, right? Like his friends or his family or women, which is interesting. So let's move on. Venus is in Virgo. And the reason that makes me happy is because I just said he wants to take care of other people, and this point validates that, because if Venus is in Virgo, you're very giving. You want to help serve others. What can I do for you? What can I bring you? How can I make you more comfortable? And that is definitely what Venus in Virgo is, and he has that in the, let's see, 6th house. Interesting. Yeah, so all the houses that are in their designated area, 6th house is ruled by Virgo, is ruled by routine, cleanliness, organization of the mind and of the environment, mostly around the environment, you know, stuff like that. I feel like he, deep down, could have been a very organized and clean person. Like, he wanted things done correctly, but he has an Aries rising. So, yeah, his North Node is in Leo retrograde. And then his Lilith was in Sagittarius. Ooh, you know what? That's interesting. Where is Pluto still? Yeah, Pluto's still in Sag and it was retrograde. I feel like having placements or houses in Sagittarius automatically signifies being away from your native land because you want to go out and explore and learn, right? And him having Lilith and Pluto there, kind of makes me feel like when he goes out into the world, he gets in trouble. I'm not gonna go up and look. I know he was arrested once. I'm not sure why. I'm not gonna go look it up. That's not the point of the video. But it seems like when he goes out, he gets in trouble. And Chiron is in the 8th house in Scorpio, also retrograde. Mars is in Scorpio. So it seemed like he was very driven by his emotions. And what I got cut off earlier because I was looking for this chart is I'm saying how it's interesting that Venus is in Virgo because he wants to serve the people around him, which we hear sometimes in his songs, like I said earlier. But with Aries being the rising, I feel like he could have been impulsive and this could have got him into trouble when he seeks pleasure, recognition. And Leo's in the 5th house. Okay, Taurus is in the 2nd house, so I guess that could explain him being stable earlier in life. And we got Jupiter in 2 degrees of Taurus. Jupiter and Taurus. Jupiter is ruled by Sag. Sag and Taurus are you know, they're not opposites. They get along to a certain extent. I feel like Taurus and Sag have an expiration. This doesn't have to do with his lifeline. I'm just saying that we have to look at who rules this house and what planets are in it. So we're looking at the house, the 2nd house, which is possessions, which is money, which is what we value, which is what we, you know, give our money to, that we earn, is in Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. But in the 2nd house, we have Jupiter and Saturn. Oh, okay, I think I just found it. Saturn is karma. Saturn is past life. Saturn is hard lessons. So Jupiter and Saturn in the 2nd house, I'm going to look at the degrees in 1 second. We have 15 degrees of Saturn and 2 degrees of Jupiter. Without looking it up, past life karma, or karma in general, next to Jupiter, which is the fact that Saturn is in the same house as Jupiter. Big lessons, big karma. What Saturn is here to teach us through his possessions, through the wealth that he accumulates. He was going to explode monetarily. Now, is Saturn aspecting anything in the chart is what I'm going to look at. I'm also going to look at 15 degrees of Saturn, what that means karmically. I guess what I'm trying to say is the fact that he had so much money was destined to happen, but with Jupiter, it turned it into something greater. It could have been a greater problem. You know the saying, more money, more problems. I kind of feel like that happened here. And obviously people murdered him because they were jealous that he was a star, right? And the reason that I even took up this video and this certain celebrity is not because I'm like a diehard fan. It's because during the summer I smoked and I was organizing a room and he popped into my mind. And I was thinking, how crazy is it that someone was murdered just because they were doing well? Like, I know this happens a lot. I know it happened, you know, to Versace at the Versace mansion. I know it happened to Selena. I think that's how you say her name. It happens to a lot of people, but it's just so crazy. People go around here hating on people who made it instead of looking at it as an opportunity, like they made it, I can make it themselves. But anyway, this is not a motivational speech. This is us reading his chart. So his descendant was Libra. Anyway, I'm really interested. I think these are Saturn and Jupiter will tell us about his death. By the way, I just learned this, so I want to share it with you. When you have Cancer in the 4th house, you're a proud native. You're a proud native. If he was from, he was from New York, so he was very proud to be from New York. He was very proud to be from Brooklyn. He was very proud of his roots and his upbringing. That's not general to him. That's just general to people who have Cancer in the 4th house. It could also signify that his mother was from a foreign land. What else we got? Before I dive into the degrees, I just want to look over at all the stuff. So yeah, Mercury is the throat, Mercury is the voice, Mercury is, you think something, then it comes out, right? And it was in Leo, so that signifies him being a singer. Okay, now let's get into the degrees, which is honestly next level. If you're starting out in astrology, this is the shit. 13 degrees in Leo. I found like this really cool, listen guys, inside degrees, we're going to be learning Elias Lonsdale. So all I did was go to Google and type in, I'm learning, like I said, I'm not over here saying I'm the best astrologer in the world, like I'm learning. I'm 23 and this is an art that takes 20 plus years to learn. So Leo in the degrees. Okay, so Elias says, Leo, 7 degrees, a very weak cup of tea. I'm just gonna kind of skip through it. Skim. You are called away, rarely present in a human context. It all depends upon how far you are willing and able to go with this. If you blast free into an expanded selfhood activation, everything will form around the whole new world to be in. But if, as so often happens, you are not quite here, but not quite all the way yet there, the transition can be excruciating as you prepare for the infinite life, but are hooked back into the regular life and snagged by image and impression. For you will be consistently reflected back to self as one fragment of yourself, and this can be awkward and inwardly agonizing. All you want is to wake up and become your greater self, and meanwhile, your lesser self has lots to handle, standing in for someone who was never quite home. Okay, I don't really like that. That's not even the page I was looking for. Oh, I think this is it. It's a document. Oh, yep, found it. Okay, 7 degrees Leo. Okay, a scepter on the orris of which shines a diamond like magnificent star. The native is born to power, eminence, fame. He will, by use of his many talents, supplemented by a powerful will, rise to a foremost position in his sphere of life. There is in a character of large amount of courage, nobility, energy, and endurance, and the free use of such qualities will, under a Bengen fate, bring the native into a field of life where he will be a central figure. It is a degree of superiority. Beautiful. Astrology is the shit, don't tell me it's not. And that's his Mercury. That's casual. Like, that's a casual placement for me. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna look at someone's Mercury and be like, this is it. But the fact that he also has Mercury in Leo, and he's a Leo ascendant. You know what I mean? Leo ascendant, it's like, yo. And he has 5th house. 5th house is Leo's in his 5th house. 5th house is creativity. It's like what you put out into the world. Some people bring kids, some people bring art, some people bring albums, which this man did. And because we don't have the, okay, it did give me, his chart gave me 27 degrees Leo. I don't know if I want to use that because I don't know what time he was born. So it's like, how accurate is that? You know, it's a general thing. I think when we enter that we don't know the birth time, it just automatically goes to noon. I can read it for you guys anyway. So this is an ominous sign. It may mean danger to the native at the hands of an enemy. Or yet more unhappily, it may mean the reverse of this. The native will certainly be of quarrelsome, argumentative nature, given over to impulsive action. A restless, destructive mind, always on the alert to attack, to oppose, to argue. Very executive, but by no means constructive. Indisposition, and hence liable to go through life. Like a tornado, remarked but not esteemed. This is a degree of destroying. Now, it even states here that if this wasn't his nature, it's the fact that his fault, his life fell through the hands of someone, of an enemy, who seek to destroy him, which, you know, unfortunately they did. Okay, now we're going to look at what I was originally going to look at, which is Jupiter and Saturn in Taurus. So Jupiter is 2 degrees and 59, 259. I can link the degree sheet that I use. It's awesome. 2 degrees of Taurus. A man lying upon the ground in the last moments of life. The sun is setting amid clouds. It denotes one for whom life will be a severe lesson, whose ambition is likely to outstrip his power, one who will attempt to great his discomfiture, whose efforts will prove futile, and whose hopes will vanish as the clouds. It is a degree of self-preservation. When I think of Taurus, I think of old money. And me reading a 3rd degree aligns with that he would have acquired great wealth. In his older years, which he didn't make it, unfortunately. But I think Saturn played a part in that. Pluto would have played a part in that too. We'll get to Pluto because he was traveling. He was not home when this fatality happened. Saturn is 1547 of Taurus. A venerable man seated in an uncertain light. Before him are several books. Various scientific instruments surround him. It denotes a studious and intuitive nature, whose mental visions will see where others arc in the darkness, one devoted to the inner meaning of nature's workings and acting from obscure motives, one of much self-reliance, inclined by solitariness, and yet always surrounded by friends. One who will be sought after while himself seeking none. This is a degree of mystery. That ties in really nicely with his moon in Scorpio. But the fact that it's Saturn and Jupiter, I want to dig into that. Lilith and Sag. That's an important aspect for me, honestly. Lilith is our darker side. Lilith is how we tempt people when we want something of power or of a certain caliber in life. And his was in Sag. Okay, I think I'm gonna close the video out now. If I see one more thing, I'll talk about it. Neptune in Aquarius, retrograde. in the 11th house. Aquarius. Okay. 11th house has to do with supporting people who support us publicly. And with it being an Aquarius people are typically really cool. Like, you just naturally like them. They don't have to try too hard. They don't have to convince you that they're worthy. You just naturally, like, fuck with them. And the reason that happens is because Aquarius is old souls. The last 4 signs in the zodiac, so Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, those are the last 4, and those are the wisest because they have learned all the other shit that the other signs are still learning. So I feel like him having Aquarius in the 11th house, it's like he had a lot of people around him. He has a lot of, all the planets that he has in his 11th house are in retrograde, which he has Uranus, Neptune. Yeah, so it looks like he had 2 houses in the 11th house, Uranus and Neptune. Neptune being retrograde, I feel like Neptune is a planet of, it can be deceiving, it can be illusion based, but because it's retrograde, he could have a clear insight on this. And Neptune is aspect to what? Neptune was opposite his Mercury, was squaring Mars, was squaring Jupiter, was opposite the sun, and was squaring his moon. That's deep. My posture is horrible. That's deep. The 11th house has to do with, like, friends and public society and societal circles, and the fact that he was killed by someone. I don't know if they were friends, or I don't know if, you know, they were known enemies on the street, or what the fuck happened there. But I do see the fact that they're retrograde. It's like, okay, he could have had greater clarity with Neptune being retrograde, but also he has Uranus there. Now, wherever Uranus goes, the most peculiar things happen. So maybe that had to do with him popping. Maybe one of his friends helped him grow, helped introduce him to the right people. I'm not sure. But overall, we do see the fame indicators of the 5th house. We do see the wealth indicators of the 2nd house. And we see Lilith and Pluto in the house of discovery, in the house of being out in the world and learning and living and enjoying life. And unfortunately, he was killed while out and about. So see, I was right, because Pluto is 757, so it's closer to 8. So let's look. 7 to 8 degrees of Sag, 2 men playing cards together. This denotes one given to the hazards of speculation, hopeful, jovial, and venturesome. He will follow a life of change and chance, counting on nothing beyond the day, and content with his lot, so long as he comes by it without effort. In the midst of want and privation, he will keep a hopeful countenance and good heart. It cannot be said that he will do much good to others, yet he will do no intentional harm, and his good spirit will cheer others who else might despond too easily. It is a degree of hazard. Alright. That's what I got here. I hope it was entertaining. I hope it was informative. If you like it, share it, blast it on your TV for your friends to watch. My name is Lydia, and thank you for joining us. Rest in peace to Pop Smoke. And that's it. Thank you.